To be a great marksman, you have to have a solid foundation, and that is the fundamentals of marksmanship. And that is what's coming up next on Into the Wind. So the fundamentals of marksmanship is our foundation for riflecraft. So we're going to go over the fundamentals of marksmanship, and we're going to break this down into 4 videos. So the fundamentals are going to be steady position, sight picture and alignment, controlled breathing, and trigger control. So in this video, we're going to start off with what I would consider the easiest one, and that is controlled breathing. So we need to control our breathing for several different reasons. If you've ever had a animal in your crosshair, you know you're about to take the life of this animal. You can start feeling multiple different things. A lot of anxiety, excitement, you can start shaking, you start breathing heavy, your heart rate accelerates, a lot of adrenaline. I think this is typically known as buck fever. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. We really want to try to control that before that starts to kick in. The other thing is this is going to help us relax. It's going to help us get our mind off of whatever else is going on throughout the day or the week, and it gives us something for our mind to focus on, and that's our controlled breathing. The other thing, this helps get oxygen into our lungs and into our body, and just help really relax us and stay focused on what we're doing. So the way that I like to do this is, and you can do it however you want, but it's, go along the same lines. And that is, I like to do a count of 4 for inhale, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then our bottom respiratory pause when all of our breath is out, hold for another count of 4. And this count is going to start off typically probably fairly fast. If you're walking, if you're a little bit excited, anything like that. So you may start off with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then as we start doing the breathing and slowly relax, we're going to start slowing that pace down a little bit. And, we want to get, hopefully we can get somewhere about 70, maybe 60 beats per minute. So 1 heartbeat per second, and just get really nice and relaxed. So that's going to look something like, inhale. So that was fairly fast. So I start doing that, and I get a set pattern until my breathing and the counts of 4 until they kind of coincide, and I got a steady pattern, and then I slowly start to bring that down. So because you're focused on trying to get your breathing, your natural breathing matched up with your count of 4, so you can do the breathing technique, and then you'll start slowing that down. That gets your mind off of everything else. And that really helps us get us focused. Now, this is the very first step that I typically start doing. Normally, I'll start doing this on the drive to the range, or once I start getting my gear out, I'll start focusing on my breathing, start trying to relax. There's a couple different other reasons why we're going to do this breathing, and I'm going to show you a breath pattern here on the board. And there's a certain place that we want to take the shot if we can. Now, different people would say different things. Some people say, you want to take a deep breath and hold it. The problem with that is if we're in our natural position and we take a deep breath, our lungs expand. And one deep breath may be a little bit different than a different deep breath. So I don't recommend doing that. Some people will say, inhale, and then breathe out about halfway. The only problem is, how do you know what halfway is? You know, maybe it's 60% one shot, it's 40% the other shot, and then you're gonna have some irregularities there. And remember, consistency is the key. So what I recommend is on your natural respiratory pause, after your exhale, so after you let all your air out, you're at your minimum and you're at your most relaxed right there. So that's where I recommend taking the shot in your natural respiratory pause. So we're not holding our breath. Some people think of this as, you know, you're gonna hold your breath. What we're doing is we're slowing our breathing down, we're slowing our heart rate down to where your natural respiratory pause is actually extended. So we're not holding our breath, we're slowing our breathing down, and we're controlling our breathing so we don't have to hold our breath. We're also slowing our heart rate down once we start getting into some recoil control. There's a couple things that we can do to actually implement, like pull the gun in extra tight. And then what we'll be able to do is we'll actually see our heartbeat. You'll see the crosshair, like tick. So this is to slow that tick down, or we can hold the gun in such a way to actually get rid of that altogether. But let's jump into the board over here and see what that looks like. This is our top-notch illustration of our breathing. And so we can see here, top-notch. Count of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on our inhale, and then we've got a count of 4 on our respiratory pause at the top, our full lungs, and then as we exhale, a count of 4, and then down here at the bottom, when we've let all of our air out, this is going to be our NRP, or natural respiratory pause. So as soon as you finish with the final little bit of air, that's where you're going to want to break your shot, somewhere in between that count of between 1 and 4 before you begin to inhale again. And we can keep this up for quite a long time. Back again with inhaling to a count of 4, our top respiratory pause, a count of 4, and then again our exhale of count of 4, and then we're going to have another respiratory pause. So what this allows you to do is to be completely calm and kind of get everything off your mind, and it gives us a perfect spot to pull the trigger. And the sooner you practice this, meaning like you get to the range, don't wait until you get all of your stuff set up and you get on target and then you're like, okay, I'll do this once or twice. This is something I start doing, you know, early in the day, 30 minutes before I get to where I'm going. But once I'm on target, or once I'm on the range, I'm usually dry fire practice a little bit, kind of get used to the trigger pull, just familiarize myself if it's been a couple weeks. And I'm focusing on that trigger pull and my controlled breathing. I usually do this somewhere, I would say it kind of takes as long as it takes. Somewhere probably I would say 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, because it's going to take a couple times inhaling and exhaling before you get the correct count down, your count in line with your natural breathing. And then you're going to need to take several breathing cycles to get everything lined up, and then to start slowly bringing that down to where you're going to extend your natural respiratory pause. Typically what I do is that my natural respiratory pause is somewhere probably in the 5 to 6 second range, but I just count really slow. I'm getting it way down there, so normally I'll count something like 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then again on my natural respiratory pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though it's a count of 4, it's 5 or 6 seconds, and this is something you're going to be doing over the period of time that you're shooting. So depending on the situation, sometimes I'm out there all day. So you really want to get this focused. If you're if you're getting deployed somewhere, you may be in a position where you're going to literally be out there all day. Hopefully you're not going to be there for a couple days. but it's something you want to maintain and really start kind of getting, once you have the countdown, really start getting it into the back of your mind where it's just a natural way of breathing in certain situations. The other good thing is this is actually a really good stress reliever. You know, if you're ever having a bad day or something's going on, you know, start focusing on your breathing and controlling your breathing. That really helps get your mind off of stuff. So we'll go over a couple other things as well as far as the fundamentals of marksmanship, but I think this is the best place to start as far as beginning, because you don't have to be on the range. You can just start kind of working on this at home and get a feel for how that goes, and start really thinking about how you breathe, because everyone's going to breathe a little bit different. So typically, if I'm moving around, my count of 4 is typically faster, you know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna start slowing it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna try to get it pretty much as slow as I can get it, where I'm just breathing comfortably. You're not trying to hold your breath and see how long you can hold it. You're trying to just lower your heart rate, lower everything down. So I think that will be it for this video. Again, stay tuned. We're going to be breaking this up into 4 parts. So stay tuned for the other videos, and remember that the fundamental of marksmanship is the foundation to riflecraft. This is one of the most important things we're going to be learning, and it is imperative to get these down solid. So stay tuned, and thank you guys for watching.